So I'm Sean, I'm 27. The business is called SMK Marketing. It's just me for the time being, so as a sole trader. The idea is to help out other small businesses and sole traders with their digital marketing, social media, ad content, their online presence. I was made redundant, as I'm sure a lot of people were, during summer 2020 as a result of COVID. Marketing seemed to be a very, very difficult industry to get back into. Certainly for the first couple of months, there were very few jobs going. I struggled a lot. It's the idea for kind of setting myself up as kind of a consultant for companies who need digital marketing, don't necessarily need a full-time employee, probably can't afford a full-time, say, marketing manager, especially smaller businesses, but still have need for an online presence, digital ads, social content, Google ads, perfecting their SEO. My background is primarily in business, but also in media, radio, digital marketing. I have a degree in international business and French from DCU. I spent a year abroad in France on Erasmus. I also have a postgrad diploma from IBAT on the Keys there with the Digital Marketing Institute in digital marketing. Spent a year abroad in Canada, perfecting my French, working in sales, so I have good experience in that too. Well, I always kind of liked the idea of working for myself. I had always kind of had it in my head right from when I was in college that I'd use my 20s, like I said, I'm 27, to build as much experience as I possibly can in many different industries. And my idea was always to come up with an idea to set up my own business in my 30s. I kind of always wanted to work for myself. Then I was made redundant in 2020, and being on the pandemic pay, not really risking a salary to set it up, it seemed like a really good time to, get a bit of a head start on my plan for my 30s. Since August of 2020 officially, I've been on the pandemic unemployment payment, which been, thanks to the government, it's been about €350 a week. It went down a little bit after the first lockdown. It's been a real help. You pay my bills, stay afloat, and give me the opportunity to now set up my business. Through that then, I've applied for and been accepted onto the Back to Work Enterprise Allowance Scheme, which is a government scheme to help people get back to work, help people set up their own businesses. What it used to be was that if you were unemployed for less than 9 months, you would get social welfare allowance for 9 months and a small grant of up to about €900. And if you're unemployed for more than 9 months, you'd get social welfare for 2 years and up to €2,500 grant. They've actually changed it now as a direct result of COVID. So people who are already on the pandemic unemployment pay, who want to set up their own business, it's much easier to get accepted. You don't have to have been unemployed for 9 months to get accepted onto the full 2-year program, which is what I've been. So I'll get social welfare, 100% of it for the first year, which is about €200 a week, and then about 75% of it for the second year, regardless of how much I make through my own company during that time. So it's a fantastic scheme, brilliant idea by everyone involved who created it. I've been applying through the Bray Area Partnership. If you contact your local enterprise office, they'll be the ones to, or the Intrio office, they'll be the ones to point you in the right direction of how to apply for that. It's a great scheme, really good idea. It gives you, that support and kind of buffer safety net while you're setting up the business, especially if you've been on the pandemic pay. Maybe you don't have as much saving as you'd like, as much backing as you'd like to set up. It kind of limits the risk to a certain amount and gives you that extra safety. So it's a great scheme. My main 2 features of my company will be social media advertising and traditional digital advertising on, say, Google, with Google AdWords and Google AdSense. I'll also help you kind of perfect the SEO of your website. If you're doing blogs, make sure the wording on the website is right to make sure that Google's algorithms can pick up your website as thoroughly as possible. On the ad side of it, I will help you create ads. If needs be, I can help you create content for ads. If you already have content, that's great. But I'll work very closely with you on the actual messaging. So I won't just come in and say, you should do this, and then do it, and then never talk to you again. I like to, think of myself as that I'll be the extra member of your staff without actually having to employ me full-time internally. So I'll spend a good bit of time actually learning the company, what it is you do, where it is you are in your business process, and exactly what it is you want to get out of your digital ads, whether it's to sell more products, to get your service out there more, to grow more traffic to your website, to generate new leads, whatever it might be. We'll create the content together, we'll create the ads together. You'll be heavily involved in the whole process. If you want to be. If not, if it's something that you want me to take full control of, that's perfectly fine too. I understand a big thing for especially small businesses, sole traders, is that they just don't have the time to perform the marketing. That seems to be quite a common theme, as perfectly understandable. If you're running a business and your whole thing is to make yourself a profit, the last thing you want to be thinking of is, oh, how do I make Facebook work? So that's where I come in. Eventually, when the lockdowns ease up and world goes back to normal a little bit as well, I'll be offering event management services as well. I have a big history in events management. I worked for 98 FM for a long time doing events management. I'm a member of the Gumball 3000 crew, which is an annual 3,000 mile supercar roadshow kind of thing that goes all over the world, hosting big events in the major cities all over the world, so I'm a part of that as well. So events is a big part of my repertoire as well. So as soon as I'm allowed to, by COVID regulations, I'll be offering event management services too. Personally, I don't actually pay for all that much software. The primary things that I'll be using will be, say, Facebook's Business Manager software to help create ads, curate ads, manage ads, create reports. For small businesses, whether it is you need someone like me or not, or if you want to do it yourself, Facebook's ad suite is fantastic. Google's ad suite also, I think, is extremely important. I think now more than ever, with people working from home, browsing the internet more, buying from home more importantly, I think having a digital presence is more important than ever. So I think the number one thing to have is a Google presence. So get yourself familiar with the Google platform, Google My Business, and how that all works. From an actual business standpoint, I use a program called Hours, literally just to help me keep track of my hours. Really, really simple, basic program. I think it was €7, and it literally just lets me clock in and out. I'm not charging by the hour, but I like to keep a track of how much work I'm doing, so I make sure that I'm not overworking myself to a certain extent. It's a really, really simple, easy to use platform. I also use QuickBooks for accounting purposes. Again, really easy. I've created my own custom invoices there as well. And for a bank account, I set up a Revolut for Business bank account. Again, really easy. I use Revolut daily in my personal life. The business setup was extremely simple as well, especially as a sole trader. You don't need like a business number or anything like that. But that's great, and it links to QuickBooks, so everything's kind of linked together like that. It's great. Yeah, networking. I know this sounds maybe a little bit cliche, but it really is the absolute most important thing. Talk to as many people as humanly possible. Even people you might not think will be helpful. My girlfriend knows very little about marketing. When she tries to explain to people what I do, I've kind of had to give her cue cards to help her explain to her. She's a scientist. Marketing is not what she knows or what she does. But it was actually a friend of her dad's that got me the initial interview that led to me deciding to set up my own company. Kind of came out of nowhere, but he's a fantastic contact to have, and he's thrown a lot of business my way as well. My girlfriend herself, she helped me with the kind of creation of the website, designing of those sort of things, my logo. Contacts I had from a graphic company from when I worked in a previous job have helped me with designs and stuff, which is great. Facebook has been fantastic. Join groups. Google, search on Facebook for Irish business, for small business. Join them all. They're great. The one I'm in, the Irish Business Association group, each week they have a call to action for people to share their Facebook pages for their business or their LinkedIn pages for their business to grow the engagement, to get more people to connect with you. Really, really simple things. You might think it's absolutely nothing, but you might get 50 new customers out of it without even really trying. It's great. The other thing I would say is, especially if you're setting up on your own and you, like me, maybe you're service offering or you're looking for products, is make calls, make contact with people, cold call people. People don't really like cold calls, but you never know. If you call 100 people, one person might be looking for exactly the service you're selling, and that might be your biggest client ever. It's a thing a lot of people struggle with, but if you can get the hang of it, it'll really, really help you very, very quickly. Lastly, make sure your family are involved. Where possible, have your family involved as much as possible. Get creative criticism, on what you're planning, what you're doing, what your website looks like, what your logo looks like, how you're wording it, how you're selling it. Make sure to run everything by as many people as possible. Family, friends, contacts. Get as much different points of view as possible so that you can say, okay, well, 10 people in my family liked the idea, but actually 2 of my friends thought it was a bad idea and suggested some changes. They might suggest great changes that will really help you build a business. Definitely happened for me. A couple of things I came up with, the logo, I got a lot of creative criticism on all of it, which helped me set everything up, which was great.